Finals week continues here at Esports Wales. I'm Charlotte, joined by PuffoBob, and it's time for the grand final of the Rainbow Six Siege X tournament. Bob, I'm very excited about this one. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll be honest, I'm really excited to see it as well because we have a best of 3 and we've had some decent matches up until now, but today we decide who truly is the best in Esports Wales Season 8.
Yeah, absolutely, and we get a Group A rematch here. At least I think it's Group A. It's one of the groups anyway.
Yeah,
we get a Group A rematch here in the grand finals as the Goats went through 2-0, and so did the Pit Ponies. We saw that game obviously last week, but their match together in the group stage was very, very close. The Goats came out on top, but it was an 8-7 win, so down to the wire, which potentially sets us up for maybe a third map today?
Hopefully, and of course the 8-7 was on Clubhouse, so you know, we're talking about these maps. Charlotte, I'm excited to see what the maps are going to be, or do we have a bit of a scene for it? I do wonder that myself. Are we ready to show or just talk?
Well, we can say what the map ban is.
Yes.
We've got the veto through, and that Clubhouse is going to be the decider. So keeping that until the end. The other two maps we've got are Nighthaven Labs and Consulate. So very standard, very basic, but I think provides a level playing field for both of these sides, and we really get to see which one comes out on top as we jump into Nighthaven Labs and get the first ban phase underway. Pit Ponies have chosen to start on the defense here as it was picked up by the Goats, and we'll get to see what their first bans are. What are you expecting here, Bob?
I think they're going to be going for Breach and Breach Denial. Those are the two that I'm kind of expecting to see. I think it's going to be a meta. Maybe a bit of shields to sprinkle in on that action. Also Mira possibly. But yep, shield for Hard Breach is not going to be too off the surprise. Again, the ace here, you want to make sure that the attackers have as an uncomfortable experience as they possibly can when going for these breaches. And of course, considering the Thermite doesn't have that movement, doesn't have that range, it just makes it a bit more difficult to work with. And the Clash, I don't think I need to talk about her too much.
Yeah, she's pretty strong, the current rework, and again, it's just complete Hard Breach being banned away by Pit Ponies, and the Goats have decided to make their lives a little bit easier, taking the Kaid away, making sure that, you know, things can run on smoothly, at least a bit more smoothly for them. And in terms of the Hard Breach, you've still got a Thatcher on side, you've still got a Thermite and a Hibana as well, but Thermite really is going to be the key here, at least for this first round, as the defense Pit Ponies, they decide to take us down to the basement. Like you said, Mira might be banned, instead she's being brought along.
Yeah, I want to delve into these bans a tiny tad bit more while we're still in the prep phase, while everything's getting ready and set. Now, I think that Pit Ponies here are going to be preparing their bans for the long run. We get rid of the Ace, the Maverick, yes, the Thermite gets kept, but when the third bans are going to be coming around, I think the Thermite will be following with it. As for the defense, we get rid of the Cade, but why we get to keep that Bandit is mostly because of the fact that the Bandit is quite easy to counter in this case, right? You can go for verticality, be it on the top floor on IT Breach, be it on the bottom one we're currently seeing. You can easily just use verticality, get rid of the bandits, and not have much trouble seeking out those cave claws.
Yeah, that is the main difference, right? With the Kaid, you can sort of hide those electric claws away. With the batteries being brought along by the bandits a little bit, I mean, they just sort of, they have to sit on the floor for one. So like you said, verticality, get an explosive or just shoot your gun. You're more likely going to be able to find purchase with that. As speaking of IT Breach, it's getting opened up here as the boogie drones from the Ram of Steno start to tear open the floor and give access to the top floor. It's a full map clear coming through now from the Goats, but still plenty of players sitting back outside as another EMP goes off. Electro, no? Okay. Instead, deciding against that breach. Instead, Animus being opened up here by the attack.
Could have been easy to get rid of it. EMPs from the Thatcher are going to be gone, and the Bandit also could have been tricking these exothermic charges, so Pit Pony's a bit of waste on how you want to utilize your Hard Breach now, but it matters not as Goats are now slowly making entry. The C4 won't be finding its mark, but it's going to be Meep shots from the Vector to claim first blood. As Noise are there, that's the Thatcher, but you still have to be wary of the lovely Thermite right outside the breach that was made, and I don't think Geology here wants to take a shot at it just yet.
Yeah, it's a precarious position for the Goats. They do, like you said, have an entryway into the site, but there's only one easily able to be watched, as we just saw in that opening engagement, and still potential for these players to be roaming. Manny's upstairs and Meep finding one. Steno, actually, they trade each other out. So the advantage still in the hands of the Pit Ponies, but not for long. Geology now pushing into the site, and Bugley has just missed the rotation and the catch on down. Long-range gunfight being caught, and Geology has found a double.
Yes, they have, and still going to be sticking around this pillar, trying to go for the default plan, but the diffuser is not in the hands of Goat, although this C4 kill certainly is a second swing here from Yogi. Will be able to leverage it back for Pit Ponies as they finish the job in round number 1.
Yeah, it's a nice clean victory there for the defense. Things getting a little bit close with the 3 versus 3, but then they had the positioning. They had things, you know, fairly well locked down to close out the round. And again, it just came down to those positions and potentially a little bit of a lack of information there from the Goats, where even though they had the Deimos on side, there's Deathmark drones, they just... Obviously, you can't quite catch everyone, and a couple people slip the net. It's all that the Pit Ponies need.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And we're going to be visiting the top floor now. It's going to be lovely CC, and with it, we get no Bandit this time around. Surprisingly, not even a mute to deny any breach, so I'm going to be keen on interested on seeing how this is going to be going. But I feel like Pit Ponies have already given up the breach, even though it can still very well be tricked, but mostly focus their attention on trying to win their gunfights as much as possible with the Azami, with the Fenrir, and also the Frost mats here are going to be quite deadly.
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal that you're surrendering the hard breaches being opened up, because you have that Azami. You can still create extra lines of sight, you can still block areas off. It requires the attackers to shoot their gun or melee it away. That gives you information. It also just stalls that time a little bit. So with that operator coming along, I'm not too upset the fact that we don't see the Bandit or a mute, like you said, coming on through.
Coach definitely had a bit of difficulties taking some of these gunfights in the prior round, and now into the second we'll be responding to with a Blackbeard. The first time we get to see a shield, the first time a kill appears within the first 30 seconds. The Fenrir goes out for a swing, finds a casualty against Pit Ponies, and even Welsh lad taking a bit of damage as Geology has done their job. The Thermite has now gotten breach, but does still stand a difficulty, which is going to be this mirror on Rafters, not allowing you easy access of Rafters.
Yeah, it's a nice combination there with the Azami barricades, but Geology is just rushing on in as Manny gets shut down there. A brilliant kill on towards Rafters, the first minute of this round, and it's all been going the way of Goats. Nades being sent in. Welsh lad only a momentary reprieve because Goats are just steamrolling the site and tying us up immediately.
That certainly is a way of going about it. In the prior round, again, I don't want to focus too much on the first, but we saw Goats were a bit second chancey. They were a bit more passive. Now this time around, they completely turned it from night to day, went in with aggression, and Pit Ponies didn't have much of a response, even though their lineup does indicate being able to shut some of these pushes down, but unsuccessful in executing it down to the very line. And now we're going to be going onto the second floor for a second time.
Yeah, Geology, massive work there in the gunfights. I mean, the flick onto, can't remember who it was, I think it was Welsh lad in Rafters. Ridiculous. So, yeah, like you said, for the Pit Ponies, they were potentially hoping to rely on gunfights a little bit there. Didn't go their way. This time we see the switch up. The Bandits coming along again with a mute as well. They are now wanting to deny these breaches, stop that easy access from the Goats, because they were able to use that to great advantage. Obviously winning the gunfights helps, but even still they just were able to put themselves in such a good position because of how many angles they were able to overwatch, because of how many ways they were able to actually pincer the defense thanks to those breaches being open.
Hopefully this time around, Pit Ponies won't be going in for relentless swings that leave them without players, and Goats, on the other hand, are going to be sticking religious to a similar lineup. Yet again, go for the breach, go for the intel deny, and mostly the shield. The shield brings a lot of attention to Goats because of how powerful it is. Now, normally, teams tend to ban out shields like the Blackbeard and the Blitz because of how much aggression the operators truly can bring to the table, but seeing as we've already gotten rid of 2 breaches and might be continuing that path as well, for now we're just gonna settle on having to deal with them, and Legion would have been lovely to see, but I guess a Melusi will suffice.
Yeah, bit of information instead of dealing the damage there. Bit more information, a bit more of a hindrance. There's the bandit batteries still persisting there on the IT breach. You could see Siegology thought that that was going to get opened up. Valkyrie camera, slight whiff on that, but now taken down. Steno, he's looking to get this first peek in towards the rafters, now spotting the Azami behind the barricade. Max D forced out into the open. There's 2 players here waiting to swing, waiting to catch. It's instead the Azami peeking out wide in an untradeable position, going down. No backup there, and Pit Ponies yet again falling on this entry, but the plus side is that Meep is there to find a kill, and that's downstairs, keeping his bandit battery safe with this downstairs position, but still the upstairs is just a complete massacre going the way of Goats, and with Meep falling downstairs as well, it's now a 2 versus 4.
So listen, Pit Ponies are going to need to crunch their way out of this because currently Young Yogi, with the help of Welsh lad, are going to be bringing it back for 1, but still a bit behind. We do see the Mutant Valkyrie sticking close to side, giving Goats a lot of space to work with and also time their attack, get the plan in motion, not needing to feel the pressure that the defense usually tend to bring on this rafter side, especially with the swings we got to see from the likes of Max, although this time around they didn't go their way, as Buckley going to leave it down to only 1, and the second quickly to follow up with it. Goats returning the rounds and getting a second of their own.
Yeah, it feels like Pit Ponies should now just maybe sort of avoid this top floor, but the basement is going to be available to them yet again as this next set of operator bans come on through. The final set of bans for these sides in this half. And the Valkyrie and the Blackbeard fall away. So Pit Ponies, they saw that how much of a problem that Blackbeard caused them in the previous round. As for the Goats, just making sure that Pit Ponies, they just can't get that information. They just want to keep things nice and simple. Gonna just be relying on the default cameras or something crazy like a Maestro, but again, there's a fairly obvious they can't be hidden away. Even still, they're electing to bring an IQ alongside for now. But with attacker repick, that can change.
The bottom floor is where we were seen earlier on the first round here, and it was quite a catastrophe here for Pit Ponies as they're looking to make a better change of it. Now this time around, again, they're not necessarily going to be even focusing on the bandits, just going to be just going away from him. Seems like it. As for the rest of the operators, it seems like this will be a bit more heavy on the roam, especially by the indication of the alibi on Manny, a lot of confidence on the gun, and Max with the Solus, a good way to hunt down those drones. And yet again, Ghosts have been really well working between each other on finding the information they need for some of these gunfights.
Yeah, leaning into the comfort picks a little bit more. Geology. He's having a go at things here. Yeah, the social there. I mean, I guess that's just to try and deny any sort of entry, because if you place a hard breach charge on that, well, you can just shoot it from the other side. But now a sightline being opened up there by Siegeology potentially could be useful for the attack, but even still, entering that area will be difficult. You might have to rely on these breach charges from Noisa, but instead it's just been shot open. Plenty of ammunition gone to the wayside to allow that to happen, but it's a way in for the Goats. No longer a way through for Siegeology as that push on through was met by Meep yet again.
Meep keeps on going for the swing. very bloodthirsty, but not going to be going their way. Noisa there with a quick shutdown, able to exchange the mirror, pick up the diffuser, back off that fight, left alone outside the breach, while the rest of Goats are now challenging Pit Ponies and their roamers, as elsewhere, Young Yogi will be able to find the two-man deficit, or rather the second kill in favor of the defending side, and also the Dokubi, which would have been quite supportive on the roam clear that the attacking side is having many difficulties with.
Half the round still yet to go. Plenty of time for the Goats to reclaim something, but with Alex still trying to clear this top floor, all that time being wasted. So disconnect from Manny. So it's a 3 versus 3, but we continue with the round regardless. Goats potentially a little bit of fortune going their way. Even still, Bugley Jr. here. Down the cargo stairs. He's going to have to be wary of plenty of different angles. Thankfully for him, the player that would have been watching this area did just exit the round.
Look at the drop here from Goats. They're ready to put it all down. With the help of Alex, it's going to be made a bit more easier. The death mark was finding some of these operators, but now in a 53v3, this Mira is not going to be able to deny any of these plants, as Bugley does find the last coming in, as Alex with a second quickly after. All up down to Young Yogi, who doesn't have much of a response to the IQ playing around the gadgets. You put down, running around, just having a bit of a ring around the rosy, as Alex swoops in from the main breach, finds the final one, and a very, I would say, disjointed way of going about it on the defensive.
Yeah, again, it is unfortunate when one of your players leaves the game, so we will have a quick technical pause while we try and get Manny back in the server. Again, misfortune there for Pit Ponies, but in a 3 versus 3 low time, you'd still bank them to win out in that situation. So still nice work from the Goats to actually get the round on the board.
100%. I mean, there were a bunch of difficulties, and again, some mistakes spotted out from the side of Pit Ponies, them positioning themselves in a sort of order where they can just allow the attackers to swoop in, get over sight, find the default plant spot, and of course, Meep's first kill was great, but going in for that second swing, I like the comfortability, I like the confidence of the Mira player thinking they can get these ones, but at a certain point, you've already found value, and doubling down on it isn't a bad thought. It's just more of a think about the if of what will happen if you don't end up winning the second one.
Yeah, because I don't think he'd used his C4 at that point in time as well. So, you know, that's a utility that you can no longer use for your side. It starts to really compound from there. Especially when we got into a position where the plant was coming in and the swings came through from the defenders, but they ended up getting caught out. If you're able to, you know, just lob a C4 in, maybe the round ends up going differently, but obviously that's all in the hypotheticals, of course. What did end up happening was that the Goats won the round, and they did a great job of isolating their 1v1s in that situation, or even getting it as a 2v1 in some cases as well.
Yeah, their utility usage was also very by the book. It was just, there wasn't anything extraordinary about it, but they just did it correctly. They went for the breach, They got to death marks, they went in for the plant, ... As for the mirror window, it's an interesting double mirror window setup we saw on site that didn't necessarily work for the best of favors on Pit Ponies, and in the end, again, it was just a bit of a mess. Now, hopefully we're going to be able to back bounce as Pit Ponies going into the following rounds, because we have to think again, some of these rounds have been messy, and the side of Goats have already gotten the 2-round lead, and they're on the attacking side. Now, I'm not one to necessarily call Nighthaven a fully defender-sided map, but defense in general is just a bit more comfortable to work with, and seeing as how these bands are, I think you can work without a clash and a cage a lot better than the attacking side is having without the breaches, without the shield that's now gone as well.
Yeah, for sure. They've certainly given themselves a lot to do. I'm just looking back at the stage 1 statistics here, and yeah, it's about a 56 defender win rate on Nighthaven Labs. That's obviously in tier 1 in the EML, but that just sort of gives you a flavour for how this map is normally favouring the defence. And like you said, already that 3-1 lead for the Goats, sorry, not the Pit Ponies. They're going to be feeling good about themselves, right? They're going to be feeling like they've got a very, very good chance at being able to, even if things end in a 3-3 half, at, you know, taking the map on the second half. And I mean, it is their map pick, so you'd hope that they'd be able to win it, but even still, just looking for a bit more from the Pit Ponies on this defense.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We need to see a bit more effort, a bit more teamwork, a bit more of everything. Just sprinkle it on in, and you're going to be good in no time. But speaking about time, there isn't much left in the first half. We only have 2 more rounds remaining, and if Goats keep up this consecutive streak, they're going to be soon close to a 5-1 split, which is not good. Again, especially on the attacking side, as you mentioned, this is leaning in towards a favorable 3-3-4-2 split for the defensive, and seeing that 3-3 is going to be the worst case scenario for Goats, I don't know, I'm not one to sugarcoat it, and I'll just say it outright, it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's certainly a risky spot, but obviously you do have the plus side of, hey, if Goats are able to do this well on the attack, then there's always the possibility that Pit Ponies also do this well on their attack, and it's just an attacker-sided Nighthaven Labs today. Which, you know, always has the possibility of happening, but right now it certainly seems like the Goats have been in control, and let's not, you know, these rounds have been close, but the Goats, they've sort of had that extra edge to it, where they've just have had a little bit more to get themselves over the line.
Yeah, 100%. And we can also, for anyone that hasn't joined earlier or wasn't here at the time we were mentioning it, we can talk about the ongoing maps, since right now we have Nighthaven Labs, which was picked by Goats. Now, this could be an indicator that Goats find themselves a lot more comfortable on this map, and them starting on attack, they're also looking forward to a brighter second. So again, if this is their map, not too much of a worry, because going on to the second is going to be Pit Pony's pick, and none other than Consulate, which also plays a bit more towards utility. It plays a bit more towards teamwork, and as much as gunfights haven't been the best for Pit Ponies, maybe Consulate is where they find the sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying before we went on air that we really like this map pool. Actually, it you know, we don't have any maps that people can really complain about. You know, Consulate is, I mean, especially since before the rework, it's definitely found itself a solid place. It plays really smoothly and nicely. It's the same thing here on Nighthaven Labs. At first, when it came out, it was a big question mark, but teams have really started to fit that into their main arsenals. And then if we need a map 3, we go to Clubhouse, which again, it's a map that everyone should know. It should be bread and butter for both of these sides, and again, for Goats, that could be really good for them, because it will really let their prowess in the gunfights shine.
100%. But right now, just so we don't end up yapping for too long, so we don't fill your head with too much information and, you know, have this snooze fest ongoing, we're going to be tending it to a short little break so we can have everything resorted in silence, and stay tuned as we'll be right back.
We are so back. Everyone,
Yes.
we're so back.
We're so back.
We thought it was Jova, but we're so back. A little bit of an update for you. Manny has been replaced by Zach. It was an internet problem. Apparently his entire street has lost internet. So that's an unfortunate one. Oh, power. Not even internet, but power. Sorry, I've just been corrected there.
Attackers need
That's...
to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, not ideal. We obviously hope that everything gets resolved fairly shortly for Manny and hope that everyone is okay. But for now, the game presses on. Round number 5, and Pit Pony's taken us to the basement again. Zach, the new substitute addition, playing the bandit here to try and prevent these walls from getting opened up, but the Thatcher Thermite combination still on side for the Goats. You'd think that they probably don't switch that one out.
Most probably not. I'd also hope to see that Zach being a new addition is also going to bring about the new thought of the maybe bandit tricking it, because it can be quite simple, especially considering that Pit Ponies have been really loving this upstairs play, meaning they can also defend this bandit. And speaking of defense, normally they're known for being a bit more passive, but Meep going in for a run out, although not finding anyone on that spawn just yet. Goes for a second chance, doesn't strike the mark. As for the side of Goats, wasting no time on getting to this breach.
Yeah, when we saw Pit Ponies play on this map last week, they did so much of that. Just, I think it was the start of every round, getting out of that exact same door, peppering her through sprays, nothing found from it. But going for the same thing again here, the Animus door opened up and Max D up above is able to claim the kill onto Stano. Meep, though, has been taken down, so it even trade out upstairs. Meanwhile, the site also opened up as the slight distractions came on through, and Bugley also falling upstairs. Max D has been locking things down. The push on in is, well, it's ill advised as Yogi finds that kill. The Fuser now dropped on the floor, but a 2 versus 2 as the push has come on through from the attackers, Noiser and Alex, with a kill apiece in this round, and Zach also getting shut down there by Noiser. Leaves Welsh Lad in a 1 versus 2. Everything on his shoulders right now, but This position, tucked behind the corner, could still be deadly. Alex is on low HP.
Attempting to lean the strategy of the attackers over towards this glass to carry it through, but not in great succession, although still in a lead nonetheless, as now it's up to Welsh, and the headshots are going to be there. Alex with an instant reaction, able to get the attacking side the 4th round, and only one more remains in the first half.
So what was that about the Glads not finding success, Bob?
Mostly through utility. Don't quote me on the shots, though. Alex knows how to hit his shots. It's just, through the smoke, could have definitely killed the Izami and saved the Thermite's life, but, hey, they get the round. The result matters only.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. It's not like there's an economy in this game that carries forward to the next round, so...
Unbelievable.
Each its own sort of unit. Pit Ponies thwarted yet again on the basement, and thwarted twice as well on the top floor. Decide to go for a different approach here with the warehouse warehouse kitchen site choice here. Not kitchen, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Either way, they're on a tertiary site now, Bob, which we normally only see after a bunch of successes. Now, seems like desperation, a last-ditch effort to try and get a round on the board.
Definitely does smell like it. As for Pit Ponies, I think it's not only desperation, but maybe trying something new. They've been seeing that this top and bottom floor haven't been the best of takes. And of course, Night Haven Labs is one of the... I wouldn't necessarily say rare maps that has a very triad-like map. Oh my god, Meep, what are you thinking? You were spotted out earlier for doing it. Alex now just simply waited, got the angle, shut you out, and the Demo's already having a good run at doing this job.
Yeah, and like I said again, Pit Ponies, last time out, they just weren't punished for that sort of behavior. This time, Alex does get the catch in a trade out there. Max D and Siegeology involved in gunfights, taken out of things here. So Goats maintain their advantage, keep a hold of things, and now starting to work their way through the top floor. And it's just, again, clearing through the map. Zach has taken some damage. He's found a kill. Now in a down but not out of state. His frag grenade being prepped should take him out of the round. But no, he's able to escape. Don't know if there are any teammates nearby. And that second one, it's in the wrong spot. But with Yogi getting taken out upstairs, yeah, Zach is now completely out of things here. Marshall spotted out by the death marks as well. His position is known. The 5-1 half. I mean, seems almost certain here for the Goats, unless we see some heroics here from Welsh Lad.
Gonna need the 1v3 catalyst, but incorporating verticality means the defense also has to keep it, otherwise the attack will be using it against you. And a good final shot incoming, securing Goats with a 5-1 split. Pit Ponies now backed up against a wall, and unless they can find the same type of performance that Goats had in their own attacking side, Pit Ponies, we're gonna have a rough ongoing second. But as we're going to be going to the operator bands, we see the Blackbeard on an instant and the Mirror, which have both shown to be very threatening between the two teams that have used them.
Yeah, they absolutely have. I found it funny there that in these operators that show up before things happen, had an Ossa, and I was like, well, no one in their right mind is banning Ossa. Might as well just not even consider that as a possibility. Well, we do see those of Maverick getting taken away yet again, but also the tuber out. Goats maybe did their homework a little bit. I think we saw Pit Ponies. I'm sorry. No, Pit Ponies were on the attack. I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore me. Either way, tuber out. Tuber out's pretty strong. Is basically the point that I was trying to get out. I was also going to say that we saw the Pit Ponies use tuber out quite a bit last week, but obviously it didn't come through in the picks this time around. And Steno opting for the Ella pick instead, with an Aruni alongside as well. This is certainly a composition.
I definitely agree with you, but recently, just a small community of Siege has actually started realizing that Ella is a good operator. Especially considering that shields are very commonly played, and even though the Blackbeard may not be here, with a Blitz and Monty still being within the range of possibilities, it's a great substitute for the Legion. Again, also, when the Eligers mod goes off, you can have yourself an easy free swing and a kill if you're comfortable enough to do it. Now, the meanwhile, interesting strategy as the Rooney is going to be brought down to shut down some of these pushes, but also to get rid of utility forcefully, as placing it outside the main breach will have to have Pit Ponies either run into the gates, throw a drone, smoke, something at least to get rid of the Arya gates.
Yeah, it's really nice, and of course they can just sit nearby it until that utility is placed down. An opening kill exchange there. Max D finding the opener, shut down by Bugly, who again has been a real shining star for the GOAT so far in this game. 3 kills since the rehost, and plenty more beforehand as well. We can just see Geology there, sat by the window, and even still, Meep is going to have to send this Twitch drone in to even clear the bandit batteries, which, well, the first attempt has been unsuccessful and shot out. I'm confused why they haven't brought a Thatcher really here, Bob.
I am as well, but decisions have already been made, and not to dwell on the past too much, we're going to see the HP count of Yogi going to be dropped alongside the likes of Geology. The line scan going to be claiming 2, and even with mute jammers, Bartley still not going to be focusing on utility, but rather bringing punches to the table, as taking out the already damaged Buck will resort to a second kill, and Goats now back on the lead. But what matters most is, again, this early aggression always seems to give a lot of headspace. We saw the first kill between Max and the side of Noisa. It gave off momentum. It did as well right after Yogi was taken out. Pit Ponies, to take it a bit more into topic, are now looking to advance towards this electrical and connector side, get themselves the open breach, just so it's not completely one-dimensional.
Yeah, but again, they're coming up against a mute. All of this breach denial here from Goats has been so insurpassable here for Pit Ponies. The operators that they've brought along just not quite up to the task. That drone also shut down. Meep now trying to send a shock drone in, and that mute jammer does get dealt with. This is at least one angle of attack that they can actually use. Another keeper barrier goes on out. Line's come to force them into the position for now. Welsh lad, that's a good kill to boot. So potentially things start to get winnable. Steno, forced to get aggressive, decides that the onus is on him to try and find the kills. Now playing a tight angle, could get pincered upon, but right now Pit Ponies not quite aware of this position, and Alex is going to be able to provide some oversight from long range as well. Still well-rounded in Steno. There's the first. Finally shut down Welsh lad. Just able to avoid the cover to come through. It's SMG-11 from Bugly long range, but instead, Alex is the one to find the kill. Now into red time. Meep has just got to try and find these frags. Behind the pillar, nothing doing so far. And again, this defense just able to sit pretty. Pit Ponies gave themselves too much to do. We're already on map point.
Map point quite quickly, and while Goats are going to be now in a need of only 1 round out of the following 5, Pit Ponies need in a consecutive order to even out the score and get themselves into the big OT itself. But for Nighthaven currently, Goats are looking to have a quick 1 match, and I don't know if they're going to be reserving themselves in Consulate or looking to have this series point be theirs as quickly as possible, but it's definitely a positive beginning, that's to say the least. And even on the defensive side, it's getting even brighter by the moment, is now going into tank assembly. It's going to be the bottom floor yet again, and we can already see that their lineup is also looking to change alongside it. The Cade and Bandit, as a matter of fact, if the Tubarao isn't going to be there, they can sure as hell back their own fights. And of course, the rest of the operators here are going to be very lenient on making the attacker's job a hell of a lot more difficult.
Yeah, again, I'm liking the improvements I'm seeing from Pit Ponies, bringing a Thatcher on side for now. And the Thermite as well, so things are going to be easier for them to open up these walls. And as much as I was sort of joking about the Ossa in the veto phase, I actually quite like the pick here if Zach is able to stick, or if Zach decides, sorry, to stick with this, instead going over to the Bucks. So the point I was about to bring up, completely null and void. It's fine, don't worry about it, I'm not bitter. I'm not
Don't
sad.
worry about it.
It's all good.
But
it's all good. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
look what you did, Pit Ponies. Do you see this? Unbelievable. but going in for the breach, Welsh lad is going to be having a great opening, and some verticality already established by the boogie for the Ram. Meep making a presence upstairs as well, although Goats looking to challenge this as close as they can. Yet again, a single smoke. They're very terrified that Pit Ponies might go for the strategy of smoking it out and going for an early plant. A swing here from the Cade will go unpunished for the moment being. The C4 to follow up with it, and a kill right onto Welsh lad. Your thermite is gone. The only breach you'll be having is an upstairs finish onto who is Max. And who is he? Well, definitely not alive, let me tell you that. And a 3v5 Pit Ponies backed up against the wall. The last round, very possibly going in for another swing. Goats are feeling themselves.
They really are, and for good reason. They're obviously in the better position here on the defense, like where we like to see, and Meep and Max already predicting no faith in their teammates to get this across the line. And to be fair, low HP and in a 2v5. The other team rightfully reminding them that the game isn't over, but right now it might as well be as the jump out comes through from Steno. A quick cleanup of the final two. And, well, just like that, it's a 7-1 scoreline. And while we're about, 75 minutes into, past the scheduled start time of this game, it was, all things considered, a fairly quick map of Nighthaven Labs.
It definitely was, and well, what a way to put out a statement, Goats. Going in onto Nighthaven 7-1, surely your pick, and you were surely able to prove it. Now, I imagine Pit Ponies weren't uncomfortable on it, because this is a map that everyone knows. They surely showed signs of having the recognition and the experience on this map before, but not able to back it up with what Goats truly had to offer. The work put in, the scrimmage, everything. I mean, Goats here were off the charts in every single step they made, from lineups to gameplay to swings to just in general being a bit better on this map. But Pit Ponies, this is what we love about best of threes. This is what we love about the grand finals. It is not over just yet. The second chance is consulate.
Yeah, for sure, and that's their map pick as well. But right now we haven't really seen we haven't quite seen the same sort of 8-7 close match like we got in groups. Right now it's been very, very one-sided towards the Goats. We'll have to wait and see whether that does change, but that will be after this short break. But when we come back, Consulate is up on the docket. See you soon.
After what seemed like a very one-sided match on Nighthaven, now we're going to be going onto the map of Pit Ponies. And before we do, it's still me, PuffoBob. Hello, and it's still Charlotte to my right, to your left, though. And
hello.
Charlotte, what are we thinking going into Consulate?
I'm thinking that I hope we get more than 8 rounds this time.
Yeah, that would be quite neat. That would be a good start.
It'd be rather swag, you know. I just want to see Pit Ponies put up a fight, man. Because
yeah,
we tried to sugarcoat it, but Nighthaven Labs was rough. It was looking rough, and I just hope that Consulate we just get a bit more of a fresh air. They just, you know, it's their map pick. They're able to just win, hopefully, or at least win more than 1 round. Just something, please. And yeah, again, they start us out on the defense here.
I mean, Pit Ponies in the past have shown us, not only through the track record and stats, but we've also casted them, I do believe.
Yeah.
They've shown us that they have the potential. Yeah,
and last
exactly.
week they won on Nighthaven Labs, which is why that result was so surprising to me. Because they just got completely shut out of things. But, you know.
Hey, maybe it just wasn't their map. Maybe it just wasn't their time. Maybe it was a jest. Maybe they're ready to now step it up a bit going into their own map because it's their home territory, or at least it should be. Consulate, Pit Ponies, Goats, let's talk about these bans. And, you know, I'm not surprised about the ban onto the Blackbeard and the Clash. Valkyrie, okay. I would consider it as a third ban if I saw Pit Ponies using it a lot, and same goes for the demos, but honestly, I wouldn't consider this too far off from the usual.
Yeah, I mean, Pit Ponies, they used the Valkyrie quite a lot in the previous map, and on Consulate, while it may not be the biggest of maps, there's still so many desks and things, there's so much hidden, there's so much of geometry in every single one of these rooms that a camera could potentially be hidden under, or, you know, things like that, and potentially Goats, they don't want to waste a pick on an IQ, or at least, you know, seem to waste a pick. I still think IQ's a perfectly fine pick, and, you know, Bugley is floating it here, or, you know, they just don't want to have to spend their time hoping to try and clear literally everything out. So I guess it does kind of make quite a bit of sense to see the Valkyrie taken away here, and again, Deimos was such a thorn in the side of Pit Ponies on map number 1. That those 2 picks of Valkyrie and the Deimos very much seemed to me like they were influenced by what we saw on Nighthaven Labs.
Pit Ponies are going to be showcasing that they definitely do know how to approach this site specifically, especially leaning in not only to the Legion, but the smoke. This map tends to have it be the most difficult for the attackers when it comes down to the execution itself, and maybe Zach is going to be feeling a bit of that swing, trying to challenge admin windows, not finding the success, but still bringing some phantom presence to Goats to not have them feeling too comfortable, while Goats themselves right now are breaching into the solo room, and as well, just making slow steps, careful ones as well, and that's what I like.
Yeah, like you said, the catering breach opened up there by Goats. So, lines of sight, angles being opened up by this attacking side. It means the Pit Ponies, they have to be a little bit more secure, a little bit more careful around the angles that they're playing in on the side itself. But, well, the Goats, they haven't checked for the EDDs. They're going to be aware of their presence now, but it's particularly egregious when you've got an IQ on board that you've still got a player dying to those Kapkan traps.
Quite unfortunate, and especially to be losing your Grim, which is also going to be that execution operator, but thankfully they do return one of their own. Zach is going to be losing their life, although the Warden, great with the Google lens, is able to counter the flash, but not bullets. Wow. You still eat a couple of those, but returns it nonetheless. A great exchange here towards the side of Long, as the side of Goats aren't having much difficulty with time, but certainly keeping their players alive, although kills here won't be much of an issue. Alex takes one out, Geology close by with a second, and all of a sudden the plant is going down. It's all left to me, and can they burden the shoulder of all these 3 players stacking up on them? Gets one. The default plan, they're almost interrupted, almost won't quite cut it though. Goes for the second one with a headshot, connects. Geology, keep yourselves safe. And Meep with the final now, gonna need to play against verticality, and it's gonna be all about mind games in this 1v1. You can throw all the smoke babes you want, but the second you see the floor destructed right below, you're gonna need to find the kill. Actually chucks it here, and that's a great way of reserving the last one. Gets away from it for the moment being, not gonna be sticking to the defusal just yet. Finds the foot, a bit of damage. Alex now gonna be assisted single bullet away from death. Goes for the reload to reassure that the second swing won't be unsuccessful. And now looking to stick it through, already halfway through. Pros don't fake, but the Ash is going to be bit to deny it. Pit Ponies, the first round, a clutch relying on the man, the myth, the legend, Meep, with a phenomenal 1v2 kill and the defusal in hand.
Yeah, it's a 1 versus 3 in the end for Meep, who should not be getting away with that. Played it brilliantly, by the way. Isolating the 1 versus 1. The player on stairs dealt with, player rotating as well after planting, dealt with, and keeping that last Toxic Babe canister to just flush Alex out of the position, then just baiting the plant, giving Alex the idea that maybe they were going to fake it and just sitting far enough back that the angle wasn't quite there. Really, really nice work. But Meep, I mean, what can you say? Gets things done in the end. Pit Ponies on the board, and goodness me, I mean, Goats, they didn't do themselves any favours with the way they played out that 3 versus 1. Still some shaky signs from both of these teams, and for Goats, they're still going to be confident that, hey, we just let that one slip, we got into a good position last round, we can do it again. They are going to have to attack into the basement, though.
100%. And, well, I don't know if these two teams are necessarily going to be relying on this, and this is the reason that we see Pit Ponies also starting on the defensive. But back in the day when the map got reworked, this was very heavily favored towards the defensive. Now, after some changes, after some buffs and nerfs, this map is a bit more balanced here and there, but still relies on utility. And that's something Pit Ponies are really work with very well, seeing as they're using the Capcans, which are currently being hacked, and I'm loving that adaptation from the side of Steno. It gets a bit overzealous with the drone, wants to go in for it yet again, but wasted a couple of seconds of max.
Device is going dark. Social canister in place.
EMP grenade. So it's a canister as well to deny the utility coming through from the attack. Young Yogi, though, he's also been denied. Another Sota canister comes on through. It's the Ash charge to claim the life of the Warden. A little bit of BM there, perhaps, but also just guaranteeing that they can get the kill, not allowing the revive to come on out, and securing an advantage there for the Goats. They don't want to let this round slip away from them, as we saw happened in the previous. Still, though, the angle's working against them. That's an outrageously bold one to try and take. Even still, trying to watch for these sight lines. The EMP comes in, his scope is taken away, and the fight coming through with Alex. He knows of the smoke's position. Swing on out, Neusser finding a kill elsewhere. And Alex forced away. The shotgun coming through. This is risky from Meep, but he's got the balls to go for that play. The rest of the team, though, falling on the site. And now Meep eventually taken down as well. Welsh lad, good for nothing in the end of the round, as Goats just swarm their way on in and tie up the game 1-1.
Goats didn't seem to want to overcomplicate anything. Yet again, they're playing Godzilla well. As for the side of Pit Ponies, I only do question why they refrain from the usage of the Cade and the Bandit. Again, it's a free pick. The Bandit, or the Cade both would have been more than sufficient enough to deny this breach as easily.
Bro's shipping them now, that's crazy.
I actually shipped him. I don't know why that happened, but it did, and I'm proud of it, because it came out sounding pretty damn cool, I'm not gonna lie. Although, we're gonna be returning to the bottom floor, and yet again, we're gonna be stepping back from the breach denial, which I don't know if Pit Ponies are looking to not use so Goats don't ban him, and then they can in the last 3 rounds, or if they simply just don't think that's something valuable enough, considering the verticality is gonna be given to the attackers either way. But the breach is now as free as it gets.
Yeah, Goats. They're looking strong here again. And on the previous map, lost the first round and then won 7 in a row. The first 2 have played out the same as the previous, at least in terms of the final outcomes. Let's hope that we do see a deviation from the theme this time around. Max D bringing out the Sentry is an interesting one. But the Commando 9, it's a pretty good gun. Not the Commando 9. Same gun as Mozzie, anyway. It's a good gun, is the point.
Yeah.
We've seen what Max can do in previous weeks as well, in terms of the fragging. Breach opened up quite quickly though. Meat Jammer in the way, but an EMP come on out. And very quickly, Goats are going to have access here to the site. Keep a barrier to try and block them out from this. That can very quickly and easily be dealt with here by the attack.
Pit Ponies aren't going to be spreading themselves too thin. We do see Meep on the top floor yet again securing some of the verticality, while Goats are slowly starting to close in on them. And the first victim is going to be spotted. Shoulder there was Speed, but Geology, that wasn't enough for them. Already used up all those Selmas, so now can play that more of an aggressive game as one defender still remains, and Max is going to be quickly backing off towards Visa and going for an upstairs rotation to maybe challenge and backstab some of these enemies, while Alex towards Yellow is going to be quickly taking care of Zach, and that's the Azami gone as well, so a lot of utility alongside it, and many time to remain here as Goats simply are going to be slowly starting to push into the site itself, right next to it, and some lives might be in danger here. Yogi doesn't realize Geology right behind them, 5v2 all of a sudden looking to convert it, but not finding all the shots, getting the aces alive to be kept alive, as with the support of that SMG-11, it quickly will be converted into a 4v1, and Max upstairs against a 4-stack roster, and being challenged on verticality and on horizontality right from behind. Steno their finals the shot, and wow, what domination.
I mean, the top floor flank doesn't really matter when everyone dies on the site. I like the idea there from Max D, but unfortunately not really able to find success. And Goats yet again barreling through the bottom floor. We've seen now a couple, two maps in a row where Pit Ponies win the first round close and then just get completely overran in the next two. They're going back to the middle floor. Well, sorry, going back to the top floor. Again, I'm clearly on something today. We're going back to the top floor.
Would you want to discuss what you're on, Charlotte?
Listen, if I am on anything, it was against my will, I promise. Yeah, going back up to the top floor, and this is again the primary. This is where we saw them go in the first round, where we saw them find success. But I just can't help seeing the parallels to the previous map, and I start to get worried. Confidence now in full force here for Goats, and let's not forget the entire reason Pit Ponies did win up here was because Meep was able to clutch a 1v3.
Yeah. Pit Ponies, you know, all credit to Meep, who since that clutch and the rest of the team haven't been able to completely outperform it, but again, that was a shining hope. It was a great way to start it, so now we can pick it back up. We've given Goats a bit of space, we've given them these mercy rounds, if you were to call it, but Pit Ponies, this is your map. Take it back into the lead, play with confidence, don't feel the need to constantly back off of fights if that's what doesn't work for you. If you feel like aggression might be a bit more lenient towards your playstyle, show it to us. Show us that you can beat Goats. And well, now going on to the top floor, it's definitely one of the better sites to do it on, especially because of a lot of tight angles and a lot of opportunities to get away from refrags.
Yeah, it starts out well for the Pit Ponies. Welsh lads, there's an opener, something we haven't been able to say in a while, because it's a 5 versus 4 man advantage situation for the Ponies. And Max D doubles down on it. I think that was a jump out, in fact. Opens up, well, jumps out through the breach that'd been made on catering. Now he's immediately looking to pressure the main push here from Goats over on this admin side. I mean, it's so aggressive, and this is exactly what you wanted to see, Bob, where previously we've seen Goats kind of win out a whole lot on mainly all of these gunfights. Right here, Pit Ponies are starting to hit their stride with the guns.
Goats still left with a bit of utility, going to be using these Grim Beasts to secure easier entry into admin, as it's going to be one of the focal points you want to secure once pushing towards site itself and long main desk in general. But Pit Ponies, look at the fight back. They're still looking for potential swings into kind of riddle this number of goats down to 2 to 1 maybe even. Goyo canister is going to be nice to clear it out, but the Goyo themselves, I believe, is going to be sticking around that vending machine, which with the help of a nade would have been great, but you've already used all of those, so Steno maybe just looking back against it, a bit of shots from the side of Noisa, even using the Grimbees to possibly try and confirm the position. Does so, pushes the Goyo back, and currently Pit Ponies are doing a great job at isolating.
Yeah, finally, for the goats, something goes their way. Max D falling, and suddenly the deficit is only one person. This is easily able to fall apart here for the defensive side. The Vulcan canister pops there on the site, a toxic smoke as well on the catering breach, so entry denied, and again the Vulcan canister there pops. Geology though, has been able to equalize. This is where things start to get dangerous now. Zach has been spotted out by the Grim Bees, but the Piranha Geology is good. Advantage yet again in the hands of the Pit Ponies, rushing through, and the shotgun there from Meep. Coming up with heroics yet again here on the top floor, and Steno left alone. He's going to fall as well. Pit Ponies, they've tied up the game, and, well, they've done better than they did on map number 1, at the very least.
That's what we've been needing to see. Aggression from Pit Ponies. Run out, spawn peaks, do whatever you will, but make sure to do it successfully. And so they did, especially with Max going in for that second. I do believe it was it Welsh lad that got the first? I can't necessarily recall, but in general, first 2 kills, great. Goats didn't find the comfortability then. They couldn't necessarily push. There was still so much utility to clear, and Pit Ponies just kept on pushing the back with each step Goats took. Great way to play the defensive top floor. Now we're going to be going onto the bottom, and that's the performance I want to see them challenge on this verticality. They also bring a Cade, meaning they're going to be looking to keep this verticality for themselves so the Cade claws don't get so easily taken out. And also Max being on the dock, how much more can I spell it out for you?
Can you do a bit more, actually?
So no, actually I
no.
I don't.
Fine, I guess. So rude.
You know, have it your way.
So
Be
rude.
like this, Sean, okay?
What do you mean have it your way?
Have it your way. Be like this. I see how it is.
What do you mean have it my way? You're doing it your way anyway.
Kids, don't do drugs.
We'll have a domestic after the stream ends. In the meantime, the round gets underway. Pit Ponies, again, the defense, it should favor their defense here quite a bit, and here on the basement side, C4 comes out over the top, gets caught there on, again, some tricky map geometry that exists here on this map, and unfortunately for them doesn't quite catch anyone, so to canister to deny the breach for now. The Electric Claw able to be tricked, so EMP has been denied for now. This attacking utility starting to be chewed through, but the drone spotting players out in server. Defenders forced away.
Pit Ponies might want to keep an eye out on their back. We did see some entrance towards servers, especially Buckley here. Nicely stepping slowly, cautiously, not trying to be spotted while Goats are having a very difficult time opening up this breach. Would have been easier with an ace, and a swing here from the dock is instantly going to be punished by Buckley. Looking for the second as well, but not going to be finding it. Rather, it's going to be Meep finding Buckley in return and quickly returning the favor, as although the man count has been equalized, Goats are still at a bit stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, the 4 versus 4. Meep's low on HP as well, so still Goats in a good position. Vertical starting to be opened up here by the Buck. Skeleton Key is going to be able to clear away this utility. So now entryway into the site from Triple as well. See Geology. Oh no, not quite. I could have sworn I heard the breach go off, but denied quite in time, and there it is. Zach as well on the defense though. Has been able to find one back. Noisa answering a trade on towards Meep, so the Fenrir falling a 3 versus 3. But that's the Thatcher low on health. Sightlines open up here for the attack, and Geology makes the most of it. Information coming through from drones as well. The yellow pings come on out. And yet again, now they've made their way through. The diffuser starting to be planted here in the corner. I don't know if they're going to be aware of this. Welsh lad certainly suspicious that something might be happening, but the overwatch from the breach. Noisa has that on lock. Yogi now 1 versus 3, and it will not be done. Siegeology has been an absolute MVP right now for the Goats. Doing everything, planting, finding kills in so many of these rounds, even on Nighthaven Labs, and gets them in the lead yet again.
Gets them back in the lead. Goats now looking to either keep themselves at a draw or with a favoring half, matters not. But that round certainly was a round of its own, because even though Pit Ponies weren't looking out for their verticality most, they were still dealing Goats a great deal of trouble towards this main breach in general. And while the Goats greatly used that backstab that we got to see from Buggly going into server, getting a kill, it was a bit of confusion, which allowed the Bucks to nicely step in, establish those soft breaches, and of course take out the Kate Claw, which followed with a breach, and all the dominoes fell on quickly right after. Now for the attacking last, Goats are looking to do some sort of a similar strategy. Again, we can see the soft breach is going to be back. I imagine they're going to be keeping it, but also to counter some of this utility in a bit more of a sudden, out of nowhere but silent way, Alex will be bringing the Twitch.
Indeed he will. Yes, again, it's about denying that utility. Previously they were able to do that from the verticals. This time around, I mean, they still have a buck on side as well, but the second option just in case one of those players falls early. As for Pit Ponies, they're just going for the exact same strategy again. Max D here on the dock, he's been spotted out though. No. I honestly thought that was about to be a misdrain then for a second, but he's been spotted now. Attempts to send a pre-fire out through the door. Nearly catches, but not to be. So entry into the map from the Goats, and Max D forced away.
Buckley stepping in, but also going to be finding a nice flick onto Max's head right between the eyes, able to find the shot and the dock as well. Well, the Kate trick is definitely having its way. It will be taken out by the Twitch drone, and that's exactly what I meant to say. Now, Welsh lad out of Kate claws, and of course, out of any way to necessarily deny the breach besides the Tubarao to delay it, but it's still gone off. And now look at Goats. They've expanded themselves on the major points this site really needs to be secured from. Its main breach, its verticality, and Pit Ponies are crunched into the site.
C4 coming on hit through the pre-place. Pops doesn't find its mark. Steno though does find his. Welsh lad falling by the wayside, and for the Goats it's now a two-player advantage. That's certainly what they'll be wanting to see. Mirror window being swatted out there by the attacker on the breach wisely. Choosing to fall away. Siegeology keeping himself safe for now. So again, verticals being opened up, and it's Siegeology who again has been doing so much for the Goats. 9 and 2. Nearly gets it to double digits with that shots going Yogi's way. Meep answers back, but now he's all alone and not even on the bomb site. Flashbang coming his way through towards the spiral stairs area. Diffuser planted, 45-second timer started. Oh, the fight round the corner. Steno goes for the hip fire and gets it done. A 4-2 attack in half here, and yet again, the Goats with an advantage at the switch.
Goats at the advantage, now going to be securing the defensive, and Pit Ponies again giving off way too much control. We saw the very early stage, we saw that Pit Ponies are a bit more confident, especially with Max on the main lobby door, going in for a swing, potential spawn peek if the drone wasn't going to be on point, and even then with a second as well, although it didn't result in the best favor for Pit Ponies as they ended up losing the first player. It quickly again just chained onto these unfortunate kills one after another. As for Goats, they're doing a great job. There isn't any way better to put it. Even though that first round was a bit of a hiccup, they've still gotten back and got the ball rolling, as now we're going to be going on to the second half, meaning new bans, and also not much of a difference. The Demos and Blackbeards will be the same as before. Valkyrie joined along, but leaving the clash open for Goats is a terrifying act.
Yeah, it's certainly something that they could choose to opt into should they wish. Up on the top floor.
Oh.
Seems like maybe a good opportunity for it, but instead they opt to go for something a little bit more unorthodox. Because, I mean, you've got Siegeology going for the Kaid. Not really much hard breach up here. Maybe just trying to trick that catering wall is the only thing that I can think of. The LL yet again coming on through, and actually the Echo as well. The first time we've seen him today, and actually I really like this pick.
I like it as well. Again, this is a site that very commonly introduces operators like the Smoke, the Goyo, especially because of the plant denial, but the Echo is definitely not to be taken out of consideration. As for the rest, we're going to have to see how the attackers tend to respond to it, if they're going to be reserving their drones. It does seem like 3 have already been taken out, so not the best work there, but Pit Ponies, they can definitely still rely on guns and utility more than information. Hopefully that's going to be included as well in the long run of this round, but going into it, they're going to be picking up an operator that we necessarily haven't seen. We've seen a lot of drone work, right? The Twitch, the Brava, the Flores will be a first, and I'm looking forward to seeing Max use it.
Yeah, I really do like the Flores pick. Used to be one of my mains back in the day, so...
Ooh,
there
fun
you go.
fact.
Fun fact, a little bit of Charlotte lore there. No, I do love the Flores. He's great fun to play, but what isn't quite as fun in these 4 Pit Ponies is the opening pick going for the Goats. Neusser inside of admin. They just weren't prepared for his position. He's able to get the second. Again, away with bloody murder, and now Buckley's here. They just keep jumping into these players. They don't have the information. And oh my gosh, this is risky with the bearing 9, but Steno jumping out is able to get that kill. Meep downstairs, just not aware that there's 2 players inside of this area. Yeah, 2 in lobby. Yep. Well, he knows it now. Don't want to comment on Alex, but either way, Goats, a successful round, and really, was there even anything at the site? Not really. It was all in admin. Again, Pit Ponies not really droning things out and getting caught off by players that they should know that those positions are at least risky. And again, the run out, 2 in lobby, it's unfortunate there, but emblematic of just a bit of a capitulation here from the Ponies.
Goats showing why they are the greatest of all time when it comes down to being the swing masters of this game. They won for another. We love that Flores, but not so much when he's 6 foot under. And a second pick for the defending side as Pit Ponies kept on offering bodies. They tried fighting back against it, but Goats truly overpressured them in the moment, and with quick succession, the round was found. 8 is now going to be underway. We're going to be heading to the second best site considered by the Goats, and also that will be the bottom floor, now also with the Capkin. And we've seen some Capkin kills before. Maybe we get to see them once more.
Yeah, please, Pit Ponies, give me some kind of close game here. The metal detector going off. Steno positioning, I mean, you'd think that Pit Ponies are a little bit more switched on with the drone work this time around, and indeed, Steno's position spotted. So he rotates away. No one really ready for the catch here inside of Visa, but instead the Doc decides to go upstairs. Again, potentially to try and waste a bit of time, but there's 3 players actually on this top floor, leaving just the 2 on the site.
Seems like Goats are going to be leaving some of that pressure from the previous round behind, just to leave Pit Ponies wandering where they might be, and the Capkin's dealing a huge deal of damage to Young Yogi. Now, you do want to reserve that operator, even especially because the vertical hasn't been set in, although the Ash will be taking the first fall. The second one here returned quite quickly after, as Welsh lad does take out Bogley, which is a great one, and a great way of showing the punish onto Goats for not being too playful of how, or rather too mindful of how they want to play this, as Meep is going to be getting one noise out there, making noise, taking out Welsh. Your line is gone. It's 3 against 3. Pit Ponies again, not even having too much of a stepping stone into this building. They barely get in, and even from the outside of it, they get challenges, opening up a bit of soft breach. But look at Noiser just going for the swing and finding the win either way. Zach right after gets the geology, but Goats, whenever they lose one, they're quick to return it, and not even that, they're going to be doubling down on it with Alex all the way from top floor, not only having the diffuser be dropped, but leaving Young Yogi with 1 bullet away from death and a match point round away in a really rough spot.
Yeah, I was going to say he's on a whisker of health here. Good gun for it though, the R4C, just watching and waiting to try and find these positions. Neusser close by in the corridor, so pot shots being sprayed through there by Alex as well. Now Neusser pulls the trigger and, well, he finds the kill as well. Not much of a contest there in the 1 versus 2. series point and championship point as well now in the hands of the Goats. And yet again, Pit Ponies yet to find anything so far in the second half.
The so promising 8-7 we were talking about on Clubhouse, I don't think it's going to be seen today unless Pit Ponies are going to be pulling out a miracle 4 rounds in a row without much flaws. Goats have been going in for not necessarily ranked strategy, but they have been really aggressive. They have been over-aggressive, and Pit Ponies, at times, they just don't get the necessity, I guess, to punish or the momentum to really play back against it. And that's what's been leaving them in such a deficit of player counts one after another. Even the low HP was merely just through gadgets alone. Pit Ponies, they went in with a 2-2-1 split of players, and leaving some of them alone ended up being quite a bad position as Goats took advantage of it. One after another they fell, and yet again, match point for the side of Goats. And this, the only thing that's better for Pit Ponies here is that they have 1 round more than they did on Nighthaven. So let's make it 3. Let's make it 4, 5, 6, and let's bring it to overtime. Better late than never.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to know an interesting fact here, PuffoBob?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday
Yes.
in Valorant, the grand final was between the Goats and the Pit Ponies.
Oh, and who won?
It was the Goats, quite convincingly, actually.
Oh, well. Seems
So-
like we're going to be repeating the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Goats have been having a brilliant well 8 as well. As Steno going for this run out.
No
That's
way.
certainly bold. He's been punished for it. Goats this time around coming out in second place, at least in the opening engagements, just like they did in the Rocket League tournament as well, which is the other fact that I was about to bring up for you there. So they've been having a good time here in Well, and we're just 1 round away from adding a Rainbow Six Siege victory to their points tally.
But this one might not be it. Pit Ponies are off to a decent start. With the Dokkaebi call as well, it's going to be exposing a lot of these players. But Zach, you just have to hit shots like those. Noise are going to be quickly reacting to them, able to find the refrag for himself before even being taken out, which is a great way of shooting back. Who is Max, though? A great exchange, looking for the second as well. Gets the headshot in an instant. And the Goo there are going to be leaving them a bit low, but Buckley trying to fight back against it. The pulse from below going to be hitting their mark. And the microwave quite deadly, but Meep even deadlier as Pit Ponies now in a 1-man advantage. Match points might be against them, but they're working off of this pressure as it's only added fuel to the fire. Although the diffuser doesn't stand in their hands just yet. The plant is going down, and Meep for the swing finds Alex among the last. And now Pit Ponies are slowly starting to bring it back.
They get a 3rd round on the board. Still 3 in a row needed, but potentially a path back through. As we see the bands coming through here. Slight game crash there, so we will see. Oh no, we don't even get to see the
No, we don't.
what's banned. We'll just have to guess. But yeah, there could be Legion. There we go.
Alright.
We've got the update. That's
Was
interesting.
that your guess, or was that maybe information from
No,
a third
I just
party?
said we got the confirmation. I just said, Puffer, but you're just not even listening to me now. We can have the domestic now if you want. I mean, we're in a tech pause, but yeah, I mean, those bands actually are quite interesting. I think they're definitely not what I was expecting.
I can see the Legion. Again, I think it's claimed a lot of kills. The T5 is not to be underestimated, but I think it's more just target banning and trying to force the enemies to play something they're not necessarily comfortable with.
It's not like
in
there's a
general.
shortage of good guns, though, on the defense. Like, taking away the Legion,
Yeah,
who's
of
got
course,
a T5.
but
They
the
can just play
Legion-
Oryx, you know? Like,
They can play
he's still
Oryx,
got a
but-
T5.
The Oryx doesn't bring goos that just go into your foot every time
That's
you
true.
step into them, and then allowing the defenders to swing in without much setup.
Yeah, but he
You hear
goes
the
zoom
sound.
fast, so, you know.
What a way to put it. Go zoom fast.
He
Yeah.
goes zoom fast,
I mean,
listen.
Look, I'm just hoping that Pit Ponies with these bans are able to maybe start bringing it back. This round was quite decent. Again, they were really consistent with their trades. Maybe the first couple were having a bit of difficulties with hitting their shots, but it doesn't matter. They got the 2v1, they got the final one, Meep with a fantastic 2k at the very end, and they also made easy entry into the site. So honestly, they checked off all the tick boxes in my opinion, and keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. It's still a difficult path, though. Let's not forget. Goats, they've looked strong so far across both maps, and if we jump back into things here, you can see the confirmation there. Dockerby and Legion taken away. Back up on the top floor here for the Goats. It's somewhere that, while they had some success in the first, in the first period of play here on their defense side, and they're going to look to do it again.
100%. Goats, top floor, bring it about the Goyo, as per usual, the Capcan as well, which has, of course, found much value in the past, but most importantly, it's going to be the Vigil and the Alibi I want to dive deep into, mostly because it's this type of information disruption that you have on these swappers, and again, Goats are looking to deny as much information for Pit Ponies so they can get more favorable gunfights. As for the side of Pit Ponies, their execution is looking quite bright, and it might be all dependent on one window.
Very much might be. The pings there from the Prisma coming through onto Zach, but he's repelled on the window. Not really too much of a surprise there. What it does do is give Alex potentially an opportunity to try and go for something cheeky. Steno has found the opening kill as well, and Zach also falling. They didn't even need the player downstairs, because Goats are just challenging these windows and just winning the gunfights. Yeah, this is the main entry for the attackers, and as a swing comes out here, it's going to be just hipfire action from CGology, able to pick up on the kill, and of course the Gridlock trying to get it back, but Who Is Max won't find succession as Noisa brings it down to the final one standing. Young Yogi, will you be the chosen one to carry Pit Ponies to round number 4 and keep yourself surviving in this matchup, or is this where it's going to end? Once swing goes down, it's a great way to kind of limit how much times you can get swing from. Buckley actually going to finish the job for you and keeping it really teamwork centered. As for Young Yogi, he's getting ran out on the pistol. They're going to be punished, even with a bit of pre-fire onto the Alibi, but Alex from below will be claiming the match point series for Goats as they win a 2-0, 7-1, 7-2 going into Consulate, and no other way to put it than a dominant performance. Yeah, only losing 4 rounds across the entire best of 3. Goats, yes, again, I mean, they looked dominant yesterday in Valorant. They looked dominant here in Rainbow Six, second place in Rocket League as well. Taking the well by storm, all things considered, and making things pretty, just, you know, pretty is one way to put it. Looks good, they look clean, everything tucked away in boxes under the rug. No frills, no drama.
Absolutely. Now, you know, to give Pit Ponies the type of, I would say, credit, they definitely showed some of these rounds that they can do it. There were moments where they were shining, they were bright, and they were good. They were dominant at certain points, but it's just a bit of a drop-off when you consider the consistency they were keeping it at. They weren't able to do it for round, and, well, that's something Goats were a bit better at. They were constantly aggressive, they were putting on the pressure, and it overloaded Pit Ponies, but both teams did well. Sadly, Goats, or not necessarily sadly, well, sadly for Pit Ponies, but Goats in general just showed to be a bit better going into this matchup, and the best of 3 will not be reaching the decider, and we're going to be quickly finishing it on map number 2. Consulate is where it ends.
Yeah, for sure. It didn't really have the same markings of that 8-7 close game like we got in groups. It was just a completely dominant performance there by the Goats. Obviously, with that disconnect, Manny, I've also heard that potentially he might be the IGL for Pit Ponies as well. So having your IGL have to disconnect is never an easy thing. So, you know, we'll shoot him some bail, we'll cut him some flack, but either way, the Goats just looked indomitable this entire split. I don't think they lost a game through, or I don't even think they lost a map throughout the entire tournament. So, you know, just while in groups it was close, in playoffs it's been anything but, really.
Sadly so. Clubhouse, maybe if we got to see it, it could have been a rivalry-like match, but, you know, maybe that's what the next season of Wales is going to be for. But Wales Esports, season number 8, Rainbow Six Siege, grand finalist, and your champions are GOATs. The greatest of all time when it comes to this season. The greatest of all season 8.
Season 8.
That
works. That works. Yeah, when we've got... I believe it is the final day of Well 8 coming through tomorrow as well, so make sure you tune in for that. It's the grand final of the Counter-Strike 2 tournament, and if my wires haven't been crossed, and you know that's going to be it for the season. It's going to be it for both of us as well. So thank you all very much for watching, for tuning in, supporting Esports Wales throughout this season. One more day to go. The only other people left for me to thank are everyone that's been working behind the scenes. Obviously, with the tech pauses earlier, we had some situations going on in terms of games crashing and everything like that. So I'm going to shout out Slayer John, who I shouted out yesterday as well. He's, you know, always available on the support and everything, making sure everything runs smoothly, because goodness me, he's had a lot of work to do these past couple of days, with obviously everything coming to a close. And then we've had Kashi on the production again, like always. He's doing literally everything, and then Nanos on the observing, who I guess is okay. So
he's okay.
Yeah.
No, we love Nanos. We love Nanos and Kashi equally. There is no favorites here, but
Kashi's my favorite.
Oh, okay, that's unbelievable. You're gonna get a stern talking to, and the post production.
Yeah.
But in general, it's been fun. It's been a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So while I have the Slovenians yell at me, we're going to throw things off here. Thank you all very much for tuning in, for watching, for supporting, like I said. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the grand finale of Well 8 Counter-Strike 2 closes, and that'll be everything. So thank you from us. Goodbye.